Good morning, everybody. Well, today I'm not feeling very good. My feet are kind of swollen this morning, so I'm sitting in my recliner. And I'm just going to continue where we left off yesterday. And let's see how it turns out. Okay. Discovering additional emotional patterns is where we're at. And now that you know how to clear obvious emotions that surface, you can begin to look at some of the emotions that surround your major and core issues. The core issues is an issue that carries significant disruptive energy. It has usually been in operation a long time and is easy to recognize. Examples of core issues are rejection, abandonment, anger, and control. Working with core issues and their tentacles. The easiest way to find and distinguish core issues and their related tentacles is to observe your pattern of reaction. When you find yourself upset at someone or some situation, you are probably reacting to the person or situation with the core conditioned response. The conditioned response could look something like yelling, storming out of the room, simply closing down to the person, or leaving the situation. The way to identify your emotion and issues is to observe your conditional response. Whenever you find yourself reacting, look and see how you're feeling. You have probably noticed that when certain situations come up, like someone having an opinion that is different from yours, you feel bad. And when you're able to go within yourself and check it out, for being aware of where the feeling is located in the body, or what thoughts arise when you ask yourself what's going on, rejection comes up, and you have just identified your core emotional pattern. Let's say you have been working on releasing rejection for a few days and you encountered a similar situation with someone else with a different opinion of yours. And perhaps this time it was a more forceful energy, and subconsciously you felt threatened. And your immediate response would be to react, which relates to the emotion of conflict. Along with conflict, it is a need to control in order to protect and feel safe. And once out of the immediate perceived danger, the feeling of betrayal surfaces and then disrupts by blame. And once the hurt subsides, you can reject again and be the victim. Knowing you can't function in the world in this weekend vulnerable state, up comes F you. And when nothing seems to work, you're left with feeling a failure. You have rejection, and then you have the core issue or the emotion. Then you're threatened, and there's conflict, and there's control. Then you have betrayal, and disruptive blame, the hurt and rejection, the victim, and then the FU, and then the failure. These are some of the most common related emotions. Check to see which one is present for you. Working on several emotions simultaneously reduces the emotional charge much faster than just working on the core issue. The tentacles of control. A lot of people like to be in control. Let's see what it says. The purpose of the ego is to keep you safe. And one of its main defenses is control. All control is based on fear. Therefore, we all have control issues of some degree. We control by controlling ourselves, others, and or our environment. Like it's real windy outside, can't control that. To determine whether control is an emotion or currently need to address, ask yourself, do you fear of being controlled? Do you fear being controlled? Or do you have a need to be in control? Or both? Most people experience both and need to control and the fear of being controlled. However, one is normally more dominant than the other. For fearing of being in control, it says fear of being controlled can appear as a need to work alone, or be your own boss, or have difficulty playing on a team, or even following a schedule, especially someone else's, can bring up fear of being controlled. Anyone who has been hurt in a controlled environment, such as a child or an adult, can develop the fear of being controlled as a core issue. Emotions that are connected to fear of being controlled are fear of authority, confined, dependence, disrespect, domineering, restriction, and suppression. If you have the core issue, fear of being controlled, you should be triggered by an stimulating remotely similar to the time when you were hurt. And your reaction to authority may be out of proportion to the current reality and you may see someone as domineering when they were similar being strong. This triggered response applies to any and all emotion connected to control. Avoiding structure at home or work could be indicated as fear of being controlled. Can you view structure as a supportive tool that enables you to achieve balance in your life? If you have very little structure in your life, you may wish to check in and see if fear of control is in operation. Even setting on your own structure can trigger fear of being controlled. Any structure, even your own, can trigger feeling confined, dominated, restricted, or suppressed. Needing to be in control? The need to be in control can stem from fear of being controlled, and one way to avoid being controlled is to be in control at all times. If this applies to you, refer to fear of being controlled above. The need to be in control usually appears as the need to have things done a certain way, your way. It is more to control the outcome, get things done right, on time, and successfully. Children whose needs were not met during the incompetence by adults may develop need to be in control as their core issue. My eye itches. There may be an underlying belief that the only way to get my needs met is to do it yourself. I've heard that saying. If you want it done right, gotta do it yourself. Can't depend on others. Wow. Emotions that are connected to need to be in control is destruction of authority, dependency, ignored, sabotage, and unsupported. If you have a core issue, need to be in control, you probably have been adept at doing everything you perceived you need in order to survive. You will most likely view other people in general as incompetents. By releasing the pattern, need to be in control, you'll be able to relate to people according to who they are as a whole instead of whether or not they are competents in a specific area. Control issues, both needing to be in control or fear of being controlled, can hinder or destroy marriages, friendships, business relationships, or partnerships of any nature. Imagine trying to live or work together if one person has fear of being controlled and the other has need to control. Everything they would do or say would trigger the other. Now imagine both people releasing their patterns. The love and or respect they have for each other would be free to be expressed, and the relationship would be able to develop into something dynamic. That would have been impossible if both people operating on the control issues. And I know somebody that can use that right now. And I won't mention her name or his name, but the couple I'm thinking about, if you're watching this, contact me and let's get this started so your relationship can be better. Anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about today. And go ahead, smash the like button, comment, email me the people I've been talking about. You know who you are. Email me or call me. Call me. It's better if you call me, probably. Because who I'm talking about knows my number. So we can get this started and help your relationship. And tomorrow we're going to talk about survival issues, general clearing, and recap on the oil legacy. We're almost done, people. So see you tomorrow and hope you have a wonderful day. Ta-ta.